Final number 1 here at Overwatch Contenders Australia Season 3. Right now, the Drop Bears are up 2-0 in this first of 3 match. If they win Hanamura, they are in to this afternoon's grand final. They will be 26-0 on map score. Jordan, can HEIST bring this back?
My gut feeling says no, Ben. Unfortunately, I think City Drop Bears have been far too dominant throughout those first 2 maps, but it's do or die now for HEIST, and maybe that is going to bring out the best in them. We'll start off on the defense as well. So Sydney Drop Bears, we won't get to see that crazy defensive side just yet. But attack, we're going to go straight back onto that Doomfist for CKM. It's been working, so why not?
CKM been on the Doomfist a number of times, having quite a bit of impact, to be perfectly honest. 4 minutes on the clock, looking for 2 captures right now, A and then B. CKM taking a little bit of damage. Gusto going to find him out there with Dowsu. First one going down. Now the Drop Bears going to need to fall on back.
Yeah, well, you couldn't really ask for a better start there for HEIST, could you? It was a nice bubble for Locust to keep Bus nice and healthy, and then CKM overextending a little bit, does miss the punch, and as a result, he's punished for it, doesn't have an escape there. The team falls back. City Drop Bears, it's time for round 2. Yeah,
going to push out once again. This one going a little bit better. Nice bubble going to come out there. But the Drop Bears going to be forced back once again. Shoyo, Haas both getting found out there by HEIST, and so far so good for HEIST here on defense.
Yeah, so far CKM hasn't been able to find a pick. He hasn't been able to find enough damage. Has been targeting Bus. We'll see if he continues to do that. Starting to see some ultimates being built up here, though. Chrono at 89%. As soon as Bus gets uppercut, there's a chance for the Earthshatter to come down for Sydney Drop Bears. I think that's what they're waiting for, and this might be the fight that they pulled it out.
Well, we've seen it on Ilios. We saw that CKM was targeting Bus. We'll see if it plays out again this time, if they can continue to be successful. Nice! Earthshatter coming out from Bus. Huge play. Going to capture them all out. They literally had to throw nothing else into that one.
See you later, Sydney Drop Bears. The Bus is in town. And HEIST doing another clean fight. But for now, Ben, still waiting for the first ultimate to come out from Sydney Drop Bears. Chrono with the Earthshatter now available. Didn't have it at the start of the last fight, so this is where the going really gets tough for HEIST.
Yeah, now things start slowly heading back towards the Drop Bears' favour. Eventually, they will have advantage in the way of ultimates, and Graviton Surge is going to come through. Trans popped immediately there as well to try and keep things all nice and fresh, but it will not be enough. Gusto will find 2. CKM and Bertlock go down. The Drop Bears forced to fall back once again. Jordan, we have had a lot of very quick fights here, only 2 minutes down.
Yeah, pretty textbook stuff out from HEIST. Nice ult rotations, but my question still remains, when does Sydney Drop Bears really commit to one of these fights? It just feels as though, for now, they're waiting out the ults from HEIST. They're trying to buy themselves that extra time. And sooner or later, they're just going to dump everything on top of HEIST, and HEIST won't have the answer. That said, 2 support ultimates here for HEIST might be enough to keep them alive.
Here we go again, looking for Bus this time around. You can see the shield was on there. Meteor Strike comes out. Sound Barrier used there by HEIST as well. Dowsu will also pop Trans. Sound Barrier coming out now from Bertlock. Bus available again with the ultimate here. We'll see the Earthshatter come through. Another big Earthshatter. So much thrown into the fight at the end of the day. It comes back down to Bus. You want to make a punt about transport, Jordan. This is certainly much better than what we're used to in Sydney.
Absolutely, and this is really what we're a little bit more used to when it comes to Bus. These kinds of plays, being able to make these big Earthshatters happen, and we talked about him being such a key member of this roster, and finally starting to see him pop off. 50 seconds left here for Sydney Drop Bears. And they don't really have much to work with going into this final fight. There is a Transcendence, however, and that probably keeps them alive.
Graviton Surge comes through. Could this be the end of the fight? No, not this time around. Self-destruct comes out. Jungle Jazz actually now the first one to go down. Traded back 1 for 1. We'll see whether that plays out in the end.
Bus has Shatter, Ben.
How is that even possible, Jordan? So quickly. Bus with the Earthshatter available once more. Looking for the big play, but CKM finally gets the pick that he needs. Dowsu going to come out with Transcendence, but the Drop Bears are finding the picks.
Again, the Transcendence not out in time. Bus goes down, and that is going to result in the point ticking over for Sydney Drop Bears. HEIST have done a good job, but they just can't complete the full hold on A. Now a second chance for Sydney Drop Bears as we look towards B. If they make a very quick cap here on B, still going to be a great time on Hanamura. The job has been good so far from HEIST, but it's not done yet.
Look, to be fair, we could not have expected much more from HEIST there on the first objective. The spawn advantage in the attacker's favour. HEIST doing very, very well to hold out as long as they did at the end. It just was not enough. Now 4 minutes. They have the advantage when it comes to spawn. What are we going to see here from the Drop Bears?
Yeah, look at what they're coming into it with, though, Ben. Almost 6 ultimates up. I mean, Bertlog lagging a little bit behind, but to be fair, Sydney Drop Bears, economically speaking, they're in a really good position right now. So HEIST, a tough couple of fights ahead of them. But if HEIST do win one or two of these next fights, they themselves are going to be the ones that are ahead in the ult economy, and they might just be able to hold on.
Drop Bears straight onto the low ground. Going to follow that up. Look at this. Meteor Strike available right now. This is not actually looking very good at all here for HEIST. You can see that Bus kind of getting caught out there finally by CKM as well. Dubois gone down there as also Dowser going to pop the Transcendence to try and keep this contested whilst the rest of the team slowly respawn. Sound Barrier coming out as well from HEIST. The Drop Bears still strong. Chrono throws out his own Earthshatter, finds one. Dowser's going to be close to going down as well. Found it there by CKM. Big Sound Barrier coming out from the Drop Bears as well. Looking very, very strong right here on Objective B.
Well, that's exactly the fight that Sydney Drop Bears needed to win, and they have won it now. It is just a case of dealing with the trickle from HEIST. Gusto!
Oh my goodness!
Where is that coming from? What on earth?
Oh my gosh, Gusto. Huge triple kill, saving HEIST just in the nick of time. The Drop Bears getting to 43%, and the Diva play coming through strong.
Well, now we have a game on our hands, Ben. Goodness me, I did not expect to see that out from Gusto, but he has showed up in this series so far. He's been very, very solid, but that is the first massive impact play that he has made, and what a time to do it in as well. Forces the swap off for Sydney Drop Bears, CKM onto the Mei. First time we've been seeing them run the Snow Goats. That is, of course, the Mei iteration of the Goats composition. It will be interesting to see how this one does work out. Not a hero that we've typically associated with Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, Diva out, Mei is in, Dowsu down. CKM, of course, been playing Doomfist instead as well, so a different iteration once again here from Tradition. Chrono throws out an Earthshatter, unsuccessful. Bus looking a little bit caught out there, will go down eventually to Husk. Graviton Surge catches Jungle Jazz. The Drop Bears back in prime position right now. Onto the point, there is the second tick. Gusto and Dowsu, the last two left. They find themselves back out onto the point. The trickle comes through. Bus swaps back across here onto the Hamster. Probably will not be enough. The Drop Bears sitting on so many ultimates as well.
Well, at this point, it's just a case of trying to buy as much time as possible here for HEIST. Every second could count. If they finish the match themselves, they want to have, you know, an extra minute or so on the clock, but looks like Sydney Drop Bears are going to wrap this one up fairly quickly. Still, the ball keeps coming.
Yeah, Bus there once again. Back again on the wrecking ball. Unfortunately, forced off the point. And the Sydney Drop Bears will be successful on Hanamura, at least on attack. But Jordan, what an incredible defensive point on A from HEIST.
Yeah, well, yeah, but unfortunately just not enough. Think how different this map could look if HEIST would have held that final fight, and they certainly had the tools to do it as well, Ben. Now they have to finish the map. They have to finish the map with time as well. Otherwise, bare minimum, it's a draw for them. So I still think this is a really, really tough ask ahead here for HEIST. I mean, we look at how far they got through Numbani. They weren't able to complete that map. To ask of them to complete Hanamura here with time in the bank as well, I don't know if I see it happening. Sydney Drop Bears have traditionally been very good on the defensive side. I want to see what they're going to pull out for us here. Is it going to be something a little bit different? By the looks of things, no is the answer. Just the Winston Goats on the defense here from Sydney Drop Bears, as opposed to what they've normally been running throughout the regular season, which is the Orisa, Junkrat, and then the Hanzo or the Widowmaker. It's pretty standard stuff out from Sydney Drop Bears in this map.
Yeah, we'll see how this one plays out for them. They have 1 minute and 12 seconds still on the clock. Should HEIST be successful in capturing both Objective A and Objective B, I think the Drop Bears going to be looking for a full hold here if they can. I don't think they really want to push all the way around and have to do this one again. As much as, look, they played it pretty well, CKM really did feel like he wasn't getting the hits and the kills onto Bus that he needed to.
Yeah, well, that swap to Mei was perfect from Sydney Drop Bears as well. It resulted in that first pick onto Dowsu. Yeah. He got caught off by the wall, and from there you can see the snowball effect onto point B in the end. And so HEIST didn't hold on long enough, but they still have an opportunity to win this map. Need a good attacking side here, Ben.
Yeah.
Dire straits for HEIST, though.
But to the surprise of absolutely no one, HEIST going to be pushing out here on Goats, and they have 4 minutes to work with on the first objective. Bus out in front, and you can see they're looking for a quick pick. Shoyo halfway down, so is Gusto, looking a little bit low right now. The Sydney Drop Bears slowly pushing HEIST back. Unfortunately for HEIST, they're not going to be able to get through this time.
That's a good disengage from HEIST. They know that they're losing that fight. If you look at the health bars, a lot of them getting low. They'll just heal up, re-engage now when they're full HP.
They push out back once again, in behind Bus once more. You can see that big hammer going around, but it's Gusto going to get caught out there by Chrono. The D-Mech coming through. Baby Diva far less effective. And once again, HEIST just going to slowly hold on this time. Going to go into the room by the looks of things. Yeah, just a good disengage again. Waiting for Gusto to get the mech back, and he has managed to do that fairly quickly. The re-engage out from Sydney Drop Bears. Yeah, Duboy almost getting caught out there right now, but still alive. That's not so bad. On to the point, the Drop Bears will be forced back on right now. HEIST pushes for Douse, who has a trance. A Kraken has a trance. The question is, who pops theirs first? The question also is, who gets the grab down first? Locust has managed to charge it up a little bit faster than HEIST, but hasn't decided to throw it out just yet. Here comes the engage from HEIST. Looking for that big Graviton Surge. Sound barrier available and used there by Jungle. Kraken pops the trance, as does Dowsu. Now Bertlock holding on to that support ultimate just a little bit longer and not going to be needing it in this fight either. The Drop Bears holding strong for now. Very clean stuff from Sydney Drop Bears, holding on. Only the one support ult from them in that fight. A Kraken able to do what both HEIST supports were able to do. Dowsu and Jungle Jazz investing both of their ults, so Sydney Drop Bears do have that slight advantage coming into this. That said, though, HEIST didn't manage. These 4 ultis available for them, just no support ultimates. Exactly, but they didn't throw in those big ults like the grab. We're looking for the grab here from Locust to be the difference maker. 1:56 on the clock right now. Earthshatter looking to come through. Graviton Surge self-destruct goes through as well. Chrono on the wrong side swings around in the nick of time. Everyone survives. The Drop Bears, all 6 alive, but HEIST are on the point. The Drop Bears now need to push on back and contest up to 1 tick, looking for 2 more. 1:40 on the clock. Gusto, the first one, as he gets D-Mech there by HEIST. Bus charges back on through, finds CKM. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Is it going to be enough? A Kraken already has Transcendence available. Pops that almost immediately as well. And that could be a fight win coming out for the Drop Bears. Grab out from HEIST as well, and again, that should be the last of it for HEIST. Bus does have the Earthshatter available. They might be able to turn this fight around. Trans now comes from HEIST. We'll see how this plays out. Self-destruct ineffective. Shoyo goes down. HEIST with that spawn advantage back onto the point. 1 minute on the clock. There we go, up to 50%, looking for that second tick, about to be successful. There we go, now 33% remains. A Kraken, HEIST both down. HEIST, they can do it. Well, they've done it just a little bit faster than Sydney Drop Bears have as well. An extra minute on the clock to play with, but they need to get this done in the next 3 minutes or so. And quite frankly, Ben, I think they need to do it in this first push, where they have this big advantage. They'll have the sound barrier, they've got the grab, they've got the Earthshatter, they have everything that they need. And Sydney Drop Bears doesn't have a defensive support ultimate, so you've got to question, how does Sydney Drop Bears survive against this onslaught? If HEIST don't do it here, they're going to have a long time to come back around and try and recharge their ultimates. Onto the point they go, looking to see a big Graviton Surge or Earthshatter come out. Buster Shield a little bit low, throws out the Earthshatter, finds CKM. CKM actually goes down. Sound barrier coming out for HEIST as well. Shoyo D-Mech. Shoyo goes down. Graviton Surge comes through. They're following up. Nice work. Self-destruct is used as well. Now HEIST have used up all of their ultimates. Dowsu about to find that trance, needs to find it quickly. A Kraken onto the point with a trance of his own. Chrono going to come back out here. We'll have that Earthshatter available. Is this going to be enough for HEIST? You can hear in the background they're yelling bus, 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 bus as he gets lowest. Going to be a charge on through, but Bus puts himself out of position, will go down. The grab now out from HEIST as well. The tables have turned. Sydney Drop Bears managed to stall this push. 3:40 on the clock. 75% is what HEIST achieved. Unfortunately, they needed more than that, 25% short, to put themselves in an advantageous position. And now HEIST have a bit of work to do here to recharge, get these ultimates back, and have potentially another successful push. Not a bad start for HEIST, though. They do obviously throw a lot of their own ultimates in there, but they do get 2 ticks out of it, also forcing Sydney Drop Bears to utilize their own economy to retake that point. So we're at fairly even kilter right now. I think HEIST are going to be happy with that. Soon we're going to be coming up on another Earthshatter. Thing is, HEIST really need those 2 support ultimates coming up in the next couple of fights. Looking for the high ground. They're going to push out behind Bus once again. They're going to take both sides of the high ground as the Drop Bears fall back onto the point. Everyone's still alive. Shoyo has the self-destruct available. Bus getting ever closer to that big Earthshatter being available as well. There we go. Now it comes out looking for the opportunity, looking for the time, throws it through. Unfortunately for him, Chrono Dota blocks it just in the nick of time. Self-destruct will find Jungle Jazz now. It's going to be tough. They almost got it through. 94%, but it's not going to be enough, Ben. It doesn't matter if you can't get that final tick.
And Sydney Drop Bears once again will hold strong. The Earth Shatter this time from Bus does not connect. Chrono even fell off the edge, and still the fight went the way of HEIST. Or rather, the way of Sydney Drop Bears absolutely didn't go the way of HEIST.
Almost goes the way, but the Drop Bears, I think, playing this just very, very smartly.
Still, looking at the ult economy, HEIST actually have the advantage. They've got the core ultimates, they've got the grab, they've got the transcendence. The sound barrier is going to be coming up shortly. Self-destruct is there, and we've seen what Guzzo can do with that. So once again, HEIST have the tools to work with, but they need to make it work in this fight, otherwise they will have a time disadvantage.
Grab almost available for HEIST, but Locust is the one right now who has it ready to go. You can stay away from Show, you can catch them all out. It will come through, catches most of them in the middle of the charge, comes out. Two big picks, HEIST down, Chrono down, HEIST in prime position, both support ultimates available for them. Surely they can win this fight, Jordan.
Well, they need to get the more picks right now. Dowsu throwing out the Transcendence. There's the one that they needed. Shoyo going down, such a pain, that Diva. But now the tables have definitely turned back in the favor of HEIST. And Earthshatter down from Chrono, not going to do too much. There's a sound barrier to deal with that.
Oh, here's the Trans though coming out from a Kraken. Bertloff going to go down to Dowsu. Have a CKM swapping back across now onto the Hamster. Earthshatter comes through, finds one. That's just tough, but that might be enough. You can see the mines now on the point as well. That is definitely less than ideal. See that push through, self-destruct there. No, not going to find any kills.
They're doing just enough. HEIST, they've managed to cap it out. Slightly less time than Sydney Drop Bears. But if they're able to hold on to point A as well as they were in the first iteration of this map, the first couple of rounds that we got to see there, then I think HEIST still have a chance here. This is definitely the closest map that we've seen so far. And Sydney Drop Bears looking a little bit more subdued, perhaps, after that.
Well, this is what we talked about, Jordan, a team who has not been challenged all season long. What happens when someone finally brings it to them, someone finally puts them under pressure, and you can definitely see the Drop Bears are under pressure right now.
Yeah, what's 3 seconds at the end of the day? We might as well call this one even at the moment. At least for Sydney Drop Bears, they will have the luxury of knowing how much they actually need to cap out. For HEIST, it's just a case of getting as far as possible. I think bare minimum, you need to be capping up point 8.
Yes, I think so, with a minute. Look, the reality is that it's going to be difficult even to get to the second objective here as well, unless you almost immediately capture it. You'll get an extra 30 seconds if you are successful on objective A to make your way across to objective B. Look, HEIST was so very strong on defense as well. I'm going to be interested to see, after the Drop Bears defend, what they do on attack.
Yeah, again, I'm also interested to see that Sydney Drop Bears just running the Winston Goats. They're not doing anything too fancy. None of this Orisa business that we saw through the season. I think they've really started to take it seriously here. A lot of those matches were against maybe weaker opposition. Here against HEIST, a team that they respect. They're going to go back to the meta picks. They're going to make sure that it works. But HEIST, they've probably got 2 fights here at best.
It took both these teams about 3 minutes to make it through the first time around. Dowsu going to be the first one found out there by HEIST. Bus goes down. First fight is over. HEIST needs to get out of dodge immediately and save what they can. They
needed to disengage faster. This is feeding so much ult charge over to Sydney Drop Bears. Look at the advantage that they're going to have off the back of that. I mean, of course, HEIST are going to still get another fight, but I don't see any ultimates here that are going to open things up for HEIST. But for Sydney Drop Bears, again, they're also a little bit behind, or a little bit too far away from those ults to really say, okay, they're going to get this one. But
if the fight continues, they get theirs first.
Exactly.
That's the key point here. The longer this fight goes, the better it is for the Drop Bears in reality. They're going to push into the room right now. Dubois a little bit low. The Drop Bears looking quite healthy. 12 seconds on a clock. HEIST going the long way around. They're going to really need to get a wriggle on here to make their way onto this point, and they are getting slowed down. 4 seconds. Someone's going to make their move in just a second. It's going to be a charge coming out. That's not necessarily the way you really want to do it. We talked about ultimates available. You see the Primal Rage comes out straight away from Chrono. CKM has used his as well. Kraken has Show has self-destruct. We're not going to see any ticks on the board here for HEIST the second time around.
Yeah, disappointing for HEIST. Look at how close they are. 96, 94, 93, 91, 96. So close to those ultimates, but just not having the opportunity to use any of them. If they had 30 seconds more, Ben, they would have had another fight. They would have probably actually taken that point, given how much was invested in there by Sydney Drop Bears. But at the end of the day, this is where they are at. Best case scenario now for HEIST is that this map is a draw.
Yes.
And remember, in the first 2-3 series, a draw is almost as good as a win at this point for HEIST. At least it delays the inevitable.
I guess it keeps them in it, doesn't it? It means that, look, they haven't gotten any closer to losing, that's for sure.
Exactly.
That's the result.
It means they haven't lost.
Yeah.
It means they haven't lost.
Yeah.
They're as close to losing as they possibly can get at this point.
Well, the Drop Bears, we'll see what they play this time around on attack. For me, it was CKM on that Doomfist targeting Bus the first time around. It really was a little bit of a struggle. Maybe it was just that HEIST were playing it well. But for now, it's going to be interesting to see if they play this traditional GOATS. Have HEIST finally succeeded in pushing the Drop Bears off Doomfist?
A minute and 12 seconds to get one tick. It's definitely doable for Sydney Drop Bears. That said, HEIST were so solid on the defense initially. Like you said, I actually like this change up from Sydney Drop Bears. The Doomfist, it wasn't working early enough. So Sydney Drop Bears have gone back to the tried and true. They've gone back to the standard meta. CKM and Chrono Dota. Let's see what they can do here with this shield bash, with their Earth Shatter, if they get it. Haven't seen so much of CKM on the brig yet.
Bus managed to find a good 20% there as well of ultimate charge straight off the bat. Nice little E coming through from
Could be all
him.
the difference.
Yeah, that could just mean, look at this, Chrono Dota actually considerably behind there. Look at that, catches up immediately but goes down. Duboy finds the pick.
No trade.
No trade out just yet. There's the trade. Locust finds one back. The Drop Bears onto the point, 45 seconds. They need to decide now. They disengage. They want one more chance.
Yeah, the trade just a little bit too late there from Sydney Drop Bears. When you lose a player in the GOATS comp, it is imperative that you get the trade within the next 5 seconds or so. And unfortunately for Sydney Drop Bears, it just came a little too late. Bus still on the way back from spawn, though. This is the chance for Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. They're straight onto the point here, only looking for 1/3. Locust getting closer to that Graviton Surge being available. The first one go down here. Be very, very
Locust
important.
has
That's Gusto. Graviton Surge thrown out. They're caught up in the corner. Chrono's going to go down there to Jungle Jazz. Graviton Surge now coming out back the one
Delsu
way.
died on 99%!
My goodness!
99%! Delsu is dead. HEIST, they're going to lose the match. They're going to lose.
Oh, Jordan, and just like that, they were so close, were HEIST, to making this one a draw, to keeping themselves in the game. But the Sydney Drop Bears, 3-0, make their way through to this afternoon's big grand final. Still undefeated, but gentlemen, it does not get much closer than that for them. They are certainly not undefeatable.
And that's exactly the case. We nearly saw the draw come through. We nearly saw the possibility of maybe Sydney Drop Bears dropping their first map of the season. But 26-0 now, playoffs included. The aura of invincibility, incredibly dauntless. This team is still just right up there.
I don't even know what to say. There's undefeated going into a grand finals. Like, that is unprecedented, I've got to say. I really want to hand it to HEIST, especially on that Hanamura. I think, in all seriousness, we saw the most we were going to get out of HEIST this season in that Hanamura, especially that first phase of defense. That was so nearly a hold. Unfortunately, the Grav self-destruct was never going to quite do it because of the Transcendence. They still had an Earth Shatter, though. That could have been the one. That was one ultimate, one pick away, I think, from genuinely being a full hold against Sydney Drop Bears, which could well have been a full map win. Didn't quite come through, but I mean, you've got to hand it to them. That was great, but you've got to hand it even more so to Sydney Drop Bears to take down what I would say is this season's peak HEIST and punch a still undefeated ticket to the grand final.
Jordan, talk us through this first defense here from HEIST. It actually was incredibly impressive. They did something to the Drop Bears that we did not expect to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just super solidly played. Really, really well done from HEIST. They rotated through their ultimates well. They made sure that they weren't getting picked. They made sure that they didn't overextend. And then even when they were put in inopportune scenarios, they were able to make the most of it. We're talking about Bus getting knocked out of the gate, still manages to turn around, get that big Earth Shatter, turns the fight back in the favor of HEIST. Unfortunately, right at the 11th hour, though, Sydney Drop Bears, they're able to make their way through. Dalsu doesn't quite get that Transcendence off in time to keep Bus up on that point, and that's where the cards started to fall for HEIST. And Sydney Drop Bears, you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. That really does come down to maybe 1%. Dalsu, if he charges that ultimate up a little bit faster in that final fight there, it could have been a full hold in the overtime. We could have been at a draw, but unfortunately, he maybe misses one extra shot. If he hits one more shot, then he gets that ultimate just in time to save them through the grab. That's the way that the cookie crumbles, though, and Sydney Drop Bears, they're the one that are reaping the rewards.
Look, and I don't want people at home thinking we're going away from this thinking poorly or talking poorly of HEIST. They have had an incredible season, considering how they started, where they ended, and at the end of the day, Avril, if you're going to have your run ended on LAN and it goes down to the back-to-back champions, the Sydney Drop Bears as yet undefeated, there's really not much more you can do.
And that's the thing, because they have this sort of season where we see them in Group B. They came in second place, 4-1 record, upset order in that group as well, took down Blank 3-0 in the quarters. Going to LAN, going to the semifinals in their first season as a team, as an organization, is a very big deal.
Well, now it's time to throw it back across to the stage for our winners interview. ZeNox, take it away.
Thanks, Ben. I'm here with the Kraken, winner, of course, from Sydney Drop Bears. 3-0 over HEIST to Kraken. Did the series go as you expected it in the end?
In the end, yeah. HEIST put up a pretty good showing, particularly on Hanamura, but I think our experience and our hard work proved too much for them.
26-0 now. You guys are still yet to drop a map. You're heading into the grand final now. It's either going to be Order or Atletico. Is there a team you'd rather face, or a team that maybe you're not afraid of, but sense that they could definitely give you a run for your money?
Well, I would say we'd rather face Atletico as an easier opponent, but Order are definitely a scary opponent who have improved a lot over the course of the season, and I think it would be good to face them and finally prove which team's better.
Now, of course, if the likes of Order were to be your opponent, many favour them in the matchup against Atletico. Do you have any sort of final secret strategies that maybe you haven't quite unveiled yet?
We've got a few things planned.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Kraken. Congratulations again to the Sydney Drop Bears into the grand final. We're going to throw it back over to Ben Green.
Thanks, ZeNox. Yes, I suspect the Sydney Drop Bears do still have a few things in their pocket ready to use in the grand final this afternoon. They were challenged, but they weren't challenged so much that they needed to bring it all out there. And I think in the end, for me, the one thing that I want to take away from this, Pixie, is that a team who comes through the next semi-final, a second-best team in the region, they could take it to a team like the Sydney Drop Bears in the grand final. This could be big.
I feel like we've seen God bleed here, right? And I feel weird saying that when they technically didn't drop a map still.
Yes.
But they have been pushed. They have been tested. They've scraped the bottom of the barrel at this point. Now, they feel confident that there is more. There may be more in terms of strategies, in terms of map picks and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, all that counts for now if another team can just show up and play better. And I think there may still be teams in this tournament that can play better. If that's what HEIST, a team who came into this season with zero expectation, can do to the Drop Bears, what's a team like Order or Atletico maybe going to be able to do to them?
Well, talking about playing well, it's time for our Macca's play of the game. A McDonald's Australia play of the game, the Sydney Drop Bears up against HEIST semi-final #1 for Season 3. AVRL, what do we see here?
And this is Bus coming on through an absolutely massive play that gets them that stellar defense on Hanamura of A. And this is just a crowning achievement for a player that, like Jordan has mentioned so far, had a really tough season last time around, but this time in HEIST has had a fantastic run through. Now, HEIST may not have won the semi-finals, but certainly won our hearts.
Oh, mate, that was going to be my little call there. But they truly have, and they've done very well. Like, you cannot expect to go better than this in your first season.
I don't think so, especially when you got two players that came through, didn't even make it into playoffs last season. Two players on your roster that have a 0% win rate on LAN coming through from last season as well. I don't think that the expectations for HEIST have necessarily fallen through or anything like that. Again, like I said before the broadcast started, I think we've seen them exceed their expectations.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't been able to pick up a map here on LAN again, they made a very close showing against Sydney Drop Bears, which is not something that many teams have been able to do this season at all.
Well, HEIST is defeated. The Sydney Drop Bears make their way through to this afternoon's grand final. Coming up next, it is semi-final #2. Order up against Atletico. We'll be back right after this.